Our tent was only one, but the footsteps circling it sounded like there were more than one. That was the first thought that hit me that night. The three of us, Dika, Rayhan, and I, went camping in a forest people claimed was quiet and safe. But since the moment we entered, something felt off. Every few meters, we saw small piles of stones stacked neatly, like some kind of ritual marker. We ignored them, thinking they were made by previous campers, and set up our tent before the sky turned completely dark. Everything was normal until around 12:47 a.m. The wind suddenly stopped. The leaves didn't move. The forest became so silent it felt like the air was pressing against our ears. And then, footsteps. Slow, heavy footsteps outside the tent, circling us carefully, as if studying us from the other side of the thin fabric. We looked at each other, making sure none of us was playing a prank. But the footsteps grew closer, and the rhythm changed. Now it sounded like someone dragging their feet across the ground. Rayhan slowly unzipped a tiny gap in the tent and peeked through with his flashlight. Through that small opening, we saw a pair of thin legs standing less than a meter away, motionless. But the terrifying part was that we could still hear other footsteps moving around us from different directions, which meant that figure wasn't alone. Suddenly, a knocking sound started. Talk, talk, talk. Slow, rhythmic, like someone politely knocking on a door, waiting for us to answer. We froze. The knocking stopped, replaced by a whisper, extremely close, almost pressed against the tent wall. Did you see me? Dika quickly zipped the tent shut, but as he did, we heard a deep breathing sound right beside him from outside. Panic took over. We turned on every light we had. But the moment the tent lit up, the whole structure jerked, as if something outside was pulling it, trying to rip it open. We bolted out of the tent with no plan, just fear. But outside, there was no one. Instead, the ground around our campsite was covered in long, distorted human footprints, crossing over each other in chaotic directions. And the worst part, every stone pile we had passed earlier was now arranged in a perfect circle around our tent, pointing directly at us. When we looked toward the trees, we saw dozens of dark silhouettes standing between the trunks, not moving, all facing us, their shapes completely still, but the sound of footsteps grew louder, closer. That night, we didn't pack anything. We just ran, praying those things didn't follow us out of the forest.